Well, hey there, everybody. Hi, I see some familiar faces. My name is Dr. Elsa Villarreal, and I am a professor and principal certification coordinator in the Department of Ed Leadership of our newly renamed East Texas A&M. So how about that name change? I look forward to working with you this semester. You'll have to pardon me as on my way home, my commute home, I ran into traffic, so I had to pull over here to a place because I didn't want to miss out on the meeting. We will be recording the meeting for those of your colleagues that can't make it. And then a copy of the recording will be sent out to everybody that was invited in the email. So you can keep it, you can refer back to it. There was also some handouts that we sent along with that invitation email. One was the agenda. Two was a copy of the 2024-2025 Principal Certification Handbook. That will come in very handy for your practicum class next semester. And then the third document was just an orientation of the TK20 portal. First of all, I'll start off with item number one, the TK20 practicum portal. You may have heard about this from your master's program orientation or principal certification orientation. TK20 is an electronic portal. And what this does is it houses all of your principal certification documents. It is separate from your coursework. D2L is your courses. D2L is where you upload assignments. But this TK20, which is something different, something new, there's no grades in it. You're uploading your principal certification documents. Once you pass your principal exams, TEA and East Texas A&M, I've got to get used to saying that, will come in and they'll have a look and review your documentation. And once all those boxes are checked off, then they'll pull you through the SBEC process of adding the principal certification on to your teaching certificate. So that's really the purpose of TK20. TK20 lasts for 10 years. I'm gonna mute somebody here. Thank you. TK20 lasts for 10 years. So you'll need that if you want to pursue the next certification. Let's say you want to come back and get a doctorate and you want your superintendent certification, all of that info will still be housed within 10 years. So without any further questions, I'm going to move on to show you what the TK20 portal looks like. This portal will go live tomorrow. So you can purchase an account now. And then tomorrow, not tonight, tomorrow, you'll start logging in and then going through the application process. Before you log on to your practicum course in the spring, you're going to register for it. When you register, you're going to see that there's a hold. They're not going to give you permission to register for the practicum yet or 554 until you complete a process called the practicum application. And that practicum application is done in this TK20 portal. So I'm going to share my screen. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen and you should be able to see something that says Principal Practicum Guide TK20. Okay. Can you nod your head if you could see that? I just want to make sure I'm sharing the correct thing. Thank y'all so much. Okay, great. So when we go through the guide, the first step says, go to tamuc.tk20.com. Log in with the username and password you were provided by TK20. Well, when you log in, you're not going to find anything. You're not going to find the practicum application because when you enrolled in the program and you made an application to our program, you did create a TK20 account, but that was free. This individual TK20 account, there is a fee. And in our orientation, we gave you the heads up that the fee to make a TK20 account is $149. I just wanted to give you the heads up with that because that is a cost, $149. Once you pay the $149 and you create the TK20 account, then you can go through the principal application, the principal practicum application process. So I just want to give you the heads up. If you have issues logging in, any other issues with creating an account, please feel free to email me and reach out to me and I'll help you through it. That's what I'm for. That's my job, principal certification coordinator. So I'll walk you through it. Once you get into the portal, then you click on field experience, and I've got some arrows here for you. So again, refer back to the email with those handouts when we sent you the invitation, because this will come in very handy. Click on where it says Principal Practicum. And as you go through these fields, have this information ready to go ahead of time. One is the campus where you're going to do your practicum. Choose a mentor principal to guide you through the practicum, and I'll go over those requirements shortly. This is what it would look like inside. It'll go live, but this is just a log sheet and such. But I'm going to focus back on this first part. This is where you put in your contact information and you're going to choose a mentor. Let's talk about your mentor, who your mentor should be. Your mentor needs to be either an AP, or they need to be a building principal, or they can be an administrator from central administration. They have to have at least 3 years of experience in their leadership role. So an AP can be 3 years of an AP, or your head principal can be 2 years of an AP, 1 year of a head principal. That's okay, because that equals 3, right? A central administrator and central office, they may not be a principal anymore, but they may have 3 years of an AP or principal role under their belt, and now they're in central administration. You can ask them to become your mentor. And if they say, okay, there is a paper, there's a printout within this application that you have your HR office sign off that your principal or your AP or whoever you want to be your mentor does in fact have those years of experience. HR needs to verify that they have those years of experience. And you'll see a form within that application that you can pull and have that signed, upload that through HR, and then that's pretty much completion of the process. The reason why we have this whole application process is because we want to make sure you have this paperwork ready. You have a mentor ready to go from day one. Now I'm going to pause real quick and I'm just going to answer any questions you may have quickly about mentors. Anything about mentors or what I've mentioned so far?
I do have a question about the mentors. Good afternoon, or rather, good evening.
Good evening. Hello, Christina Davis.
Hello.
I don't think I've had the honor of privilege of having you as a student, but nice to meet you.
Nice
What
to
is your
meet you as
question?
well.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have liked to had you as a professor as well. I've heard great things about you from former Texas A&M Commerce students.
Oh, thank you. Thank you
Um,
very much.
Yes, yes,
Mm-hmm.
ma'am. My question, I know talking to Dr. Ross, she mentioned that, she explained a little bit about the practicum and how we would have 3 45-minute sessions. I know you're probably going to get into that, but how closely do we have to work with the mentor? Is that someone like a every day, or is that more of a contact person just to guide us? Because if I have a person, if I don't want to necessarily choose my school principal, my building principal, if I want someone outside, how much time should I tell them, to expect that I would need to get mentorship from them, if that makes sense, my question.
Yes, that's an excellent question. Many students are in roles where they could be instructional coordinators and they may serve several campuses. So those circumstances, a student would need to just choose someone on that campus. It does need to be a physical campus. And you can choose a mentor that's off campus, at another campus, at another building. However, they need to sign off on the hours, the practicum hours that you'll be documenting. They need to sign off on that. So there needs to be already a relationship there and a trust. So in some cases, I've got students that, hey, I've got a principal that I just love, and you know what? They're transitioning to a new campus and they're leaving me, but I don't want to lose them as a mentor. I want to continue working with them. We are okay with that. But just know you may have to go out of your way to meet with them, to have some one-on-one sessions, or maybe job shadowing with them, but they are responsible for signing off on your hours. And if they're okay with that, then we're good. We want you
And
to maximize that experience.
thank
That's a
you.
great question.
And one last one, no two, only one.
Okay,
No, no,
just
no, no,
one
just one.
mentor.
Okay, thank you.
One mentor to document for the practicum. Now, for your experience, you may have multiple mentors. You may have a mentor that'll mentor you for these hours formally, what we need on paper. You may choose a mentor outside just to be there to help you balance life and work. You may have another mentor that could help you with the PASL, which is one of the certification exams, but we need one formally on paper.
Thank you.
Yes. I see someone has their hand raised. Hilda Robinson.
Thank you. My question is, you said that before they register for the next class, we have to do this, right?
Okay. Pardon me, Hilda, the sound is a little off, and what I picked up from you was before we register for the practicum, we have to do this practicum application in TK20. That's correct.
Okay.
There will be a hold on your registration. You won't be allowed to register until this application has been processed.
Okay.
So the application portal in TK20, it starts tomorrow and it goes all the way through like January 2nd, January 3rd. When you look at my agenda and the handouts, it'll have the dates listed on there. So you do have plenty of time to think about who you want your mentor to be, and time to ask them, time to work on the $149, and then to work on the application. So you've got it all the way through the winter break. Good questions. Did I see another hand or another question? You
Yes,
can
ma'am. I
unmute.
had a clarifying question.
Hello there, Jacob. Hi.
Hello.
I don't think I've had you or Hilda Robinson in class either. So
No,
looking
ma'am.
forward to working with you in the spring.
I appreciate it. So I want to clarify what you said about the logging into the TK20. So we mentioned the free account. So am I going to have to create a brand new one for the money?
Yes, that is
Okay.
correct. You're going to create a brand new account.
Okay.
It's just many of us, the students, when we first created an account, we were working on admissions into the program, and that one was free. This one, because it's going to follow you with your principal certification for 10 years, that for this one, TK20 charges, but it's a one-time fee.
Okay, awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good question. Okay. I'm going to move back into the principal certification and the practicum, and just some information about the practicum class itself, because there's a lot of questions about the practicum. Let me share the desktop real quick. And I'm going to pull a copy if you want to follow along with me of the Practicum handbook. Okay, let me try that and share that document. Okay, you should now see a document. It is with our old name, but it will be changed for the spring semester. It'll say Principal Practicum Handbook 2024-25. Do you see that document? Good. Thank you for nodding your head on that one. Okay. This tells you everything you want to know about this upcoming Practicum class. My name, my information, my website is there, an email if you have any questions after this Zoom, any special circumstances that pop up that you want to talk about with your practicum, I'm available to you. The name right here, Melissa Arambide, department head. She is our department head. I'm not sure if you've ever had her as a professor, but I just wanted to bring that to your attention, who our department head was. And then Mrs. Sherry Harwell is our Director of Educator Certification and Academic Services. Miss Sherry Harwell plays an important role. All your principal paperwork in TK20 goes across her desk. She stamps off that you passed your practicum, that you finished your program, and she signs off that you've got your principal certification documents in TK20 by the conclusion of the practicum, and recommends you to TEA for principal certification at that point. So with all of these individuals working together, we are supporting you in your principal certification journey. You may note that the practicum may be a little bit more structured in the spring than your regular classes. The good news is that there's no more research papers, no more APA. You don't have to worry about that anymore because the practicum is called, it's practice. That's exactly what it is. It's you being in the field and doing principal activities. And we log those in. We're just going to document those. So again, good news, no more textbooks, reflections, and research papers. We're actually going to be doing the work. The hours are dictated by TEA. So this graphic that you see here shows the overlap from TEA, state compliance, and the shared governance with our program. I'm going to scroll down to this part right here. This is page 6 of the handout. If you're in the master's degree program, this is just an example of how far you've come already. That first dot is admission to the program. Second dot, you went through the coursework. At this point, you were invited because you are already completed EDAD 515, 595, 526, 556, 519, 561, and you're currently enrolled in 507, the data class, and in 569, instructional leadership. That's the one that you're enrolled in now. Next semester, the spring, you will be enrolled in 554. This is called the Texas 268 test prep class. In this course, you will learn tips on how to pass one of the principal certification exams, the Texas 268. You'll also get permission in the spring to register for that exam. The next course is the principal practicum. That's called 510. That course is 16 weeks long. That will run from January all the way to May. The 554, which again is the 268 test prep, that's only 8 weeks. So you're going to see one class is short next semester and the other class is 16 weeks long. And that's the practicum because TEA says we need to have a certain amount of time and hours for that class. In the 510 class, you can also obtain permission to register for the PASL exam. That's the second principal certification exam. So in total, there's two principal certification tests that you need to pass in order to get your certification. Then we have graduation or program completion. And then notice there's one more dot after graduation. You do have the option of taking your principal certification exams after program completion, after graduation. You can do that. I just want to make that clear because this is a question that pops up occasionally throughout the practicum. So if you want to go on the market to be a principal or an AP, you want to put yourself on that job market, then I do highly recommend that you take your principal exams in the spring next semester. If you're like, whoa, hang on there, Dr. B, I need some breathing room. My day job is already taking up time. I got my personal life and then I got the courses. I'd like to wait for the summer and possibly next fall. That's fine. Know that there's no penalty for not taking your principal exams. Your coursework in D2L, your master's program, it's independent of these exams, of these certification exams. So you can choose to take your exams after graduation. Just know that you may not be able to put your name in the hat if a position comes around because you're delaying it. Okay. Any questions so far about this principal exams and when can I take my exams? I just want to make that clear. You can find that answer here in the handbook, page 6.
I have a question, Dr. V, another question really
Yes.
quickly. So for those people who are in the Dallas cohort, we have, I believe, that one course, the 554 that we've signed up for. So when we sign up for, I believe, the 510, will that make us full-time or will we still be considered as part-time students, if that makes sense, my question?
Okay, good. Christina's asking about the Dallas cohort because she's in a special cohort program. Right now, I'm going to answer her question, but I need the rest of you to cover your ears because it's not going to apply to you, okay? And I don't want to confuse you. So Christina, you're in the Dallas cohort. So your 554 course, you're taking it ahead of time because in Dallas, we have a different arrangement. In the fall, when you take your practicum, it will be only 3 hours. So it will interrupt your financial aid. It's going to put you below halftime status. So you need to know the heads up on that and tell your cohort that they need the heads up with financial aid.
Okay, several of them are online, and I'm not sure if they're in the same financial aid boat. But our practicum wasn't to wait until the fall, if I'm not mistaken. That's why we're on this call.
Oh,
It
okay.
was supposed to start in the spring because we are
Well,
one.
that's wonderful. It's wonderful. Then as long as you're enrolled in 2 courses in the spring, then your financial aid kicks in. In the fall, when you need to take a second semester of it, if you need to take 2 semesters in your case, then yes, financial aid is going to go away if you only take 1 class because that's 3 hours. You go
Okay,
you go below halftime.
and we would have to. Okay, you said it's 16. Not trying to prolong this. You said it's 16 weeks. We would have to take it in the fall too if we don't finish it.
Again, I believe your Dallas cohort has 2 practicum semesters. You might want to follow up with Dr. Ross.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
You bet. And I'm glad y'all are here, Dallas cohort. But now I'm going to switch back to everybody else in the traditional cohort. Your cohort, your practicum is online. So now let's get our ears, let's open them up again. Because
Okay,
now,
I do have
now
a
we can go
question.
back. Angela Green, yes.
I have a question. How long after graduation and that we have the approval is good for to take the exam?
Good. Angela, it's good to hear from you tonight.
I know. Well,
yes.
Thank you.
Yes, and looking forward to working with you. So you have a year to permission to take your exams. If you wait longer than a year, then you've got to do more training. So I strongly encourage you to take your principal certification exams within 1 year of finishing the program, so you don't have to do extra training a year later. Good question, Angela. All right. I'm going to give you just some insights into that practicum class. What is it that I'm going to be doing in that class? Besides getting a mentor, what does this class have in store for me? On page 14 of the practicum handout, there's some examples that are listed of practicum activities so that you can already consider or plan out in your mind of some of the things that you can engage in the spring semester. So page 14, some examples could be giving a professional development session to campus or to groups of faculty, leading a professional learning community, a PLC, facilitating a data team meeting and having those conversations with teachers. You can also have a pre-conference with a teacher, observe their teaching, and then do a post-conference with them and give them a critique. These are just some of the more popular activities that I approve with my students that we work on. And it really does give you the best bang for your buck because it removes you from the classroom and you take your teacher hat off for a little bit and you put your principal hat on. And it seems kind of weird. It's a little uncomfortable at times because it's new, but you start engaging in principal-like activities. Your professor for your practicum will work with you and your mentor to brainstorm activities. So some activities may look the same between you and your classmates, and some activities may be different because they may be customized to your particular campus. So page 14, 15, 16, and it looks like, yes, 16 are just some examples of activities that are documented within the practicum. All of these activities will add up in hours. How many hours are you supposed to have? Well, on page 13 of the practicum handbook, the answer is 160 practicum hours. This is the minimum that you need to document in order to pass the practicum class. 160 hours. Now that sounds kind of crazy at first, but listen, you've got 16 weeks of this class. Think about it. You could do 10 hours a week, or some hours you may do more. Some hours you may do less, and it'll even out all the way from January to May. You can do 160 hours. Another question that a student asked was observations. What do you mean by observations? Observations are points in time where you take your cell phone and you do a selfie of yourself in a leadership position. You're videotaping yourself, and it's a 45-minute session. It could be you, again, leading a PLC. It could be, coaching a teacher. All of these things are wrapped up in what we call an observation. Item number 3 says 3 virtual observations. They're videos that you'll provide that are about 45 minutes long, and then your professor critiques them. Your mentor signs off on them. What else is required in the practicum besides the hours and besides these observations? 3 informal ones. The 3 informal ones are mini 15-minute ones. There's a job shadowing assignment on campus and off campus that will be required. And then there's just some reflection activities. You'll write in a discussion forum your reflections of the practicum so far. And so items 1 through 7 are really the bulk of what makes up that practicum class. I'm gonna stop sharing and then answer any questions you may have so far.
Dr. Reyes, I was
Yes.
looking at the email and the what is it called? The handbook that we that was emailed to us and the one you're showing us is different.
Okay. The handbook that I'm showing you as different. What attachments did you receive? Can you
Yes,
review
received,
them?
yes, it's the 2024-25 Practicum handbook, and that's what you're showing us. And the
Yes.
first like couple of pages is
Does it
completely
look
different.
different?
Yeah,
Okay.
it doesn't
I'll-
have your information on there.
Oh, thank you for noting that. It could be a different version. So what I'll do is I'll take this version that I'm showing you tonight. I will send it to Miss Dana Kruger. Miss Dana Kruger is our administrative associate. She's the one that, you know, guided you through the admissions in the beginning from our practicum. She's the one that, you know, helps you sign up for courses and such. I'll send that to her tomorrow. She's the one that sent the invite. And I'll send it along with the recording and then this document. And for whatever reason, if you don't get it, you can contact me. And I'm gonna put my name here in the my email address. Let's see here in the chat.
And then we got two other documents, which were the student completing the principal practicum application,
Yes,
and then the
that-
TK20 certification agenda.
okay, very good. Then those are correct. Okay, my email's in the chat. Hang on to that and feel free to reach out with any questions. I'm gonna go back over to the agenda because we did talk about many different things tonight at one time, and it can be overwhelming. But I'm gonna go back to the agenda because I'm gonna make sure we didn't miss out on anything. Okay, can you see the agenda? You see a copy of the agenda, right? Okay, I see everybody nodding their head. And I need to move the Zoom screen. There we go. Okay. So we talked about the TK20 already, the out-of-pocket costs. The window of time, again, it starts tomorrow, November 14th, and it'll go through January 3rd. So you have time to secure your mentor. You have time to set up an account. Again, it's a 10-year paid membership. We talked about the practicum, that it is 16 weeks, that you needed to secure a mentor. And in that handout, in this agenda, you'll see some of their requirements. They have to be a Texas principal. They have to have the principal certification and hold the 3 years of experience. Some of their responsibilities will be to help you plan your practicum experiences. They're going to sign and verify your time logs. And then they're just gonna, in the very end, give their blessing that you're ready for principal certification. The third item is the Texas 268 principal exam and the 368 PASL. Those are the two exams that you need to pass. Training for the 268 will be embedded in your 554 class in the spring. Training for the PASL is embedded in your practicum class. It's the second week of the class. You'll see training and you'll be able to obtain approval for registration. One of the students asked, how long do I have once I register? That registration is good for a year. After that, you're required to complete additional training. So again, we recommend that you take those principal exams within a calendar year. Item number 4, if your school district, all of a sudden they need a principal and they want you to step up, but you haven't passed your exams yet, and they say, hey, we can do an emergency certification, just a heads up, unfortunately, East Texas A&M, we don't do emergency certifications. We don't do probationary certificates. You have to pass both exams before you're recommended for certification. And that concludes the agenda for tonight. I'm going to hang around and I'm going to answer any other questions that you may have. And I'm going to stop recording